back shoulder. Oh my gosh. Oh, they're gonna throw a flag. Holy fetch, they're gonna throw a flag. Okay, guys, it is 24-27. We just came out of the 2 minute warning. Okay, this game's gonna go to the end. I feel like this is gonna be another half hour before we start the stream, but I just wanted to get this going, and have the stream queued up. I thank you guys for tuning in. We're gonna just we'll see how long the 2 minute. Oh, dude, yeah, he had his. Okay, the play we're talking about when we come back to it. Braxton with his hands up in the face masks grabs onto him. So, yep. You could have called it two ways: illegal hands to the face, or pass interference. But anyways, guys, enough of me rambling. I'm gonna play a little bit of music, get the intro going, just a little bit for you guys because holy shit, I have a feeling this one's going to go down to the wire. So be sure to hit that like button. I'll see you guys on the other side once the game's wrapped up, and I'll give my post-game reaction. 24-27 Ole Miss right now is a minute 40 away from headed to the national championship. Okay, Carson Beck. Bro, Carson Beck's got to be freaking careful. He's almost thrown 2. Hold on, let me mute this. Let me pause this for a second. Carson Beck's got to be freaking careful. He's almost thrown 2 back-to-back interceptions. Okay, keep following along. Here we go. Hold on. Let me know who's going to win, guys, in the comments. Oh! Strike! Okay, inside the 20. Here we go. Beck, what are you doing? Beck, what are you doing? Brother, there is 37 seconds left. Okay? And the score 24-27. They just took a timeout. 24-27, 37 seconds, second and 11. Bro, this is a hell of an ending. This is a hell of an ending. Yeah, wow. Wowie, wow, wow. Okay, let's watch this play and then we'll go back to it. First down. First down inside the 10. Should have been a first down. Inside the 10. I don't know where ref's going to spot that. But forward momentum, he got to the 6. So, they're going to call a timeout. Yep, they're going to call a timeout. Hold on, people. Okay, second and goal. Second and goal, 24. Brown took it right up the middle. Ole Miss called a timeout. I think, if you ask me, let's see if Ole Miss can get a goal line stop here. I don't know if they can. This drive has taken almost 3 minutes off the clock. What this is going to be is this is either going to be Miami punches this thing in, ball game, or they kick a field goal and we go to OT. I don't know I don't know if Ole Miss has a goal line stop like how Miami did against Texas A&M. But again, football's one of those weird things where this is how you moved on in the first round and this is how you went home, by a pick six in the red zone. And now that I say that, I feel like I'm going to jinx Carson Beck. Sorry, bro. Get rid of the damn... Oh, walk-in touchdown. Oh, oh. Oh, my gosh. Oh. There's 18 seconds. There's 18 seconds left. It's... Well, it's over, but it's not, because this is exactly where Ole Miss was against Georgia. And then they took shots down the field and then kicked a field goal. Holy shit. Well, all right. All right. What did I freaking say? This is exactly what I freaking said. Way too much time. What does Trinidad Chambliss do? First play, right over the middle. They're at the freaking 50-yard line, and they got 11 minutes and a timeout. Not 11 minutes, 11 seconds and a freaking timeout. Bro, you can't even make this. You know what? Let's watch it out, guys. Why not? Here we go. Hail Mary. Hurry, 6. Hurry. Oh, he called the timeout. This is going to come down to a Hail Mary. Yep. Okay. Here we go. Let me mute. Okay, here we go. Last play. Timeout. I knew it was too good to be true. Alright, here we go. Just prepping some things. Getting some things prepped for when the stream queues back up. Hope you guys are having a... I don't know what y'all think about this game. Be sure to let me know your thoughts, who you had winning. Here we go. There's 6 seconds left. This is for the ball game. Big roll out to the left. Hail Mary. Nope. Out of the back of the end zone. Wow. 0-0-0. 0-0. 31-27 final. Okay. Wow. What a final. What a final. Dude. Hell of a game. Okay. We're going to do, let me get some things prepped here, guys. Thank y'all for hanging out. I think I've got to be, yeah, I'm like 40 seconds behind, if not a minute behind. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. O'Connor. Well, actually, they're both hand fighting. They're both grabbing each other. Oh. They're both grabbing onto each other. Whoa. Okay. They both, okay. Okay, let's. Well, all right. No more yapping. Okay, let me get prepped here, guys. Let's get some things ready to go. But hopefully, yeah, final in this one was 31-27, I believe. Hold on, let me rewind it just a little more. Sorry, I was playing the replay. Yeah, 31-27. Let's turn that off. Let's get some things. Oops, sorry, guys, scratch my eye. Let's get some things queued up. Be sure to hit that like button. Let me get some things queued up, and we'll get our post-game reaction stream ready to go and properly ready. But all right, anyways, see you guys in a second. All right, people, let's get into the stream, shall we? Okay, here we go. Let me mess with the audio a little bit. Sorry about that. Let me wind it down a little more, so we're not draining each other out. All right. Okay. Are we live? We live? We better be live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another stream. I don't know. There is something about playing in the desert that when we play in the desert, we have instant classics. And this one was no exception. This one was an absolute classic. It was a banger. Just when you think, okay, Miami versus Texas A&M is the best game of the college playoff. And then, we get one-upped, and it's like, okay, no, actually, Ole Miss versus Georgia is the best game in the college football playoff. And then we get one-upped another time, and then it ends up being, oh, no, actually, Miami versus Ole Miss is the best game of the college football playoff so far. It keeps going back and forth, and I will admit, and I'll sit on this right now because, boy, was I wrong. In this prediction, I had I kind of joked about it. I said, watch this game. Not now that I say it out loud, I sound like a total doofus. But basically, I was calling the Indiana game, Indiana and Oregon, the ipso facto national championship, because I was like, what if this game doesn't live up to the billing? What if, because kind of like a lot of people were talking about, is what if Miami gets a run on this and Ole Miss can't keep up? And that was not the case in this game. Ole Miss's defense, they put Miami in a stranglehold for a majority. Well, not the whole game, but there were moments, and I'll get into it and we'll talk about it during this stream. But there were moments in the second half when there was just kind of a dud, and it's like, holy cow, what are we doing? And Ole Miss's defense was getting after it, and they were able to stop Beck. It was the first three drives that I can think about. But then, I mean, of course, we have the Tony, we have his touchdown that put the game out of what looked like out of reach for the moment, and then. Can we also say too that the second to last drive, like, he had a phenomenal catch that will never count in any stat book anywhere. Like, great coming back to the ball, one-handed grab, phenomenal catch. It doesn't matter; it won't count anywhere except for morale points, because that's where we're at. But I mean, Ole Miss defense, they got after it, and I think. With just how a lot of people were talking with how this playoff game could have gone. It didn't, and surprising enough, it took till the very end because I will give credit. I think statistically through the air, Beck had a better first half than he did second half, but the dude was responsible for 3 touchdowns, so I'm going to give him all the credit on that because, he had the walk-in touchdown there at the very end. And then in the second half, he didn't have as many pass yards, but that one to Tony really did flip the momentum of the game. Because actually, I'm curious. I don't know if maybe we can pop it up. I want to see the, how we have our little fun graph when it goes up and it goes down and all that. I want to see where, let me get it popped up. Let me see here where, here we go. Look at this. 31-27. Carson Beck darts for a go-ahead touchdown to stun Ole Miss. Oh, yeah. Look at this. What was the win probability for Miami? What is it? Come on, zoom in a little more. I want to see 72, 67%, 66, 79%. So it's 79 right here, and it's much further down right here. for like a split second. I can't even split it in the middle, but it's around a 73%, which I mean rightfully so, because um, I mean when he was asked to do it, and when the stakes were the highest, what was Chambliss able to do? March down the field and freaking hit his tight end in the flat. Like, this wasn't just, okay, we're at the goal line, whatever, just a little dink and dunk 3-yard pass like Brady Gronk. No, he hit the corner flat, and like it was a 15-yard, like it was exactly how the Georgia game was, which was pretty damn impressive in my book. What? Well, it was right, yeah, 24. Okay, it was a 24-yarder to actually be exact with the stats. 24-yarder to Daquan Wright. He had 3 receptions in this game, and obviously the touchdown was the big one that counted. But yeah, guys, this was this is a freaking damn good game. Something about playing in the desert that makes it a good one. So, but back to kind of like my reaction with the first half and then the second half. I think something that Miami, because one thing that I will say about this whole game is when the game turned, where it's like, okay, this is Miami's not going to lose this game, is right after the touchdown before halftime. Because what could have happened, which it didn't end up like this, but we're hovering around probably 3 minutes left before halftime, and Beck all game it seemed like he just kept hitting those quick check downs to Tony, playing it safe. But then because I mean a lot of the deep passes were not working, which the Ole Miss's secondary was able to shut it down, and then but then right there, the second, right after we think, okay, Carson Beck can't hit the big one, what does he do? Right over the top. They extend the lead because I think it was 10-7 or 10-10 at that point, and then it extended to 17-10 or something like that. But there was still enough time because Miami's defense got a stop where, okay, they could blow the lid off this place here in Glendale, and Miami could be leading by more than 2 possessions. They could lead by 2.5, where, okay, now Ole Miss is really in a hole, kind of like how it was against Georgia. But that's not what ended up happening. Ole Miss's defense was able to close it out. I don't remember what was the halftime score off the top of my head. Do I have it? Popped open. Let's go look. The 17-13. Okay, 17-13. So then what was so we have our Marion touchdown for 52 yards. Yes. Caniero, he hit the field goal with 11 seconds left. Yes. So again, kind of like how we saw, it was a little bit of foreshadowing. So they take up all this time. They take up a 2-minute drive, and I don't remember how much time was left when the drive started. Let's go to all plays. 8 plays. Oh, yeah, they had 46 seconds left, and Ole Miss just marched right down the field, kicked the field goal. So, again, damn impressive. Kept Miami at bay. And then we start the second half, which the second half I think is where, I mean, obviously it is what determined the game. And I would say probably the craziest, just something about like with how, because I'm trying to, I mean, I know there's no moral victory for Ole Miss right now of like, hey, there were parts and there were moments in this game because it was right before Tony's touchdown, and it was also before Ole Miss got the field goal and stuff to make it, what was it, 16-17. It was right after both teams missed the field goal. It was before Beck's interception. I was kind of thinking, okay, Miami's playing around with their food way too much, because to get because a big thing that a lot of people forget too in football games is the momentum of finishing a half and then starting a half with the ball. Where if okay with the touchdown, because at one point we're looking at the box score here. It's 10-7 for Miami. Miami evens it up 10-10. We got the big shot 50-yarder touchdown to make it 17-10. And then Miami, they prevent Miami from scoring here. They go score a touchdown, take all momentum or whatever, and then get the ball in the second half. Because again, these were drives that went under a minute. Like all of this took a majority of the clock. Okay, from 17-10, there is a 14-point swing from them being equal here at 10 apiece to potentially, if Miami finished the half with a touchdown and then started the half with a touchdown, it is 24-10. But Ole Miss's defense was able to stop it. And the other thing too, I will say is, again with the analogy of they were playing with their food, is there were a lot. Now don't get me wrong, because it ended up working, because they hit him in a slip screen that he was able to cut back inside and take it to the house for a touchdown. But you could see there was the deep shot that was perfectly executed and blocked by the defender. But how many times did they pass it to Tony? And he'd get the ball out in the flat, and then they'd try to do a slip screen to him. And to start the third quarter and the second half, it was not working. And you could tell that it was rattling Miami's offense a lot, because the same kind of firepower that they ended the half with the huge touchdown, they just abandoned it, which, I mean, it's the ebbs and flows of the game. But then as we come back here, there was the interception, and then when the interception happened, it's okay, this is getting ugly. This is kind of like how the Georgia game was, where Miami's letting Ole Miss hang around, and it ended up biting them in the butt, because Ole Miss kept chipping away, getting back in this game. I didn't talk about this too much, but I think the running game was a big thing. I mean, we knew Brown had a touchdown, and as well on the ground, he doesn't get as much credit, but Fletcher had a phenomenal game too. I think the line of scrimmage was controlled mostly. I would say Miami, because they were victorious, but there were moments, because Fletcher had over 100 rushing yards. If Beck was not able to figure it out with the passing game, Ole Miss is walking out of here with a win, because the run game, they were crucial. It's still a pass play, but those short dink and dunk slip screens, whether it's to Brown or Tony, that is what ended up hurting Ole Miss the most, because they could commit and they could separate the deep passes, because I can't tell you how many deep balls there were tonight, which, say that 5 times fast, it sounds silly, pause. But there are a lot of deep balls that the Ole Miss defenders were able to step up and deflect and block, which huge credit to. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but after Lucas got ejected, which we'll get in, I'll talk a little bit about that too. The fourth quarter, where Miami's defense got hosed. I'm going to say it. I don't know, a lot of people might not like that, but there was, when there was 8 minutes left. So if you are wondering how good this game is, if you don't watch any of the first 50-ish minutes and you turn on the TV with the drive that started when Ole Miss had about 10 minutes left, dude, they got, there was the deep shot that Chambliss took to his receiver Kelly, but then there was the targeting call that got Lucas, ended up being ejected, which this game was physical from the get-go. I mean, one thing that Miami, I will say, is Miami did play, both teams did play dirty, I will say, but when you look at the penalties, I'll pull up the stat for it. Miami had so many more damn penalties than Ole Miss did. But the level of aggression of how Miami, I mean, there was, this shot early in the game, but then there was also the shot on the sideline when I think this was somewhere around the second quarter or something. Chambliss, he's scrambling out, and he just, I think it was number 99. It was one of the front four, just shoved him way out of bounds. No flag there, so maybe it came around. I don't know, but again, there was the first down catch. There was the targeting on top of it. So then there's the plus 15. And then the next play, there was a late hit by one of the subs. I think Daly, wasn't this, I think I don't remember what that. But like, Quan Lacey went down, and then he came in and hit him late. And basically, I think unnecessary roughness is like 10 yards, plus 10 yards or something. But the refs there at the very end spotted Ole Miss like 30 yards there, which they did end up scoring. I didn't talk about this too much, but yeah, Braxton, huge game defensively until that final. I mean, live by it, die by it. Like, he played phenomenal. Him on Tony all day. He was shutting down Tony there in the first half. One thing that did end up catching up to him though was that face mask, because it extended the drive. Excuse me. Extended the drive, kept the drive going. But I think both secondaries like had their day. And again, this was around the time where Beck threw that crucial interception. Ole Miss turned around, put some points on the board with this one. But yeah, if you're wondering where to start the game, if you don't want to watch the first handful of minutes, start from around 10 minutes in the fourth quarter, and you can just see the ups and the downs and the momentum shifts of both teams having the lead and both teams losing the lead. Because I think if this isn't too controversial, but like, I think because how much, I'm telling you, there's parts of me that think if Miami left a little bit more time on the clock and Ole Miss had 30 more seconds, I think Ole Miss is winning this one. Because after Beck scored the touchdown, and I was like, okay, 1 minute, let's regroup here. Let me go get the stream ready, and we'll get back to it. I didn't realize, like, statistically, Ole Miss needed a touchdown to win the game. They didn't need a field goal, because the only thing that Miami needed at the end of the game was the field goal to win it. But then Beck ended up rushing for the touchdown to win it. I did not realize that. Error on me, guys, for thinking, oh yeah, Ole Miss, they got 18 seconds. All they got to do is tie the game. No, they needed to score a touchdown. I didn't realize they were down by that much. But I think Chambliss came to play, though, and I think he definitely stepped up. What's cool about, I'll admit I slept on it a little bit, is how one thing that I noticed with Chambliss is that every single game that he played, this one, I mean, you kind of got to take it with a grain of salt a little bit, because you can look at certain points that you want to look at. There's parts of me that think he outdueled Beck a little bit tonight, in some ways more than not, because if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he's had a interception. Let's double check. I could be wrong. No, let me hold on. I gotta pull it up. Okay, here we go. I don't think he had an interception. I could be wrong. Yeah, no. 277, 23 for 37, 23 for 37. Whoa! They threw the exact same amount of... Yo, that is... Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That was freaking crazy. That's crazy. Well, and two, this wasn't a crazy turnover game either. Both teams were pretty responsible with the ball, and the interception ended up leading to this field goal that made it 17-16. So it's not like Beck's interception was too crazy because it only led to 3 points. Now, I can't say, hey, if it led to a touchdown, it would have been a different outcome, because again, that final those final handful of drives, punch by punch, like it was a damn good game. Oh, as we can see here, Ole Miss, yeah. So Lacey had the huge run. I think this is the deep shot from, oh yeah, right there, boom, wide open. That's a blown coverage, because why is a linebacker covering a wide receiver down the field? Again, blown coverage. That was the Marion 52-yarder. But then Ole Miss settled it down a little bit, making it okay. But so then after Malachi Tony had his, yeah, dude, freaking, oh my gosh, how many? Okay, I want to go play by play. 6 plays, so it was 6 plays, and it was a quick turnaround too, because the other stat, where is it? Look at this stat. 41 minutes. I don't remember what the time of possession was for the first half, but there was a time and moment somewhere in the second half where Miami had the ball for 30 minutes more than Ole Miss did. Like, it was freaking crazy. And part of me was thinking, what if what if Miami has more time of possession, but they end up losing this game? That would have been absolutely hilarious. That would have been stinking hilarious. Here, let me open up some chats for you guys. There we go. We got a couple votes. We're leaning for the U. I see it. My prediction, I will say my actual official bracket, my bracket's broken beyond repair. I mean, I had Indiana, Georgia, and now I look like a doofus. I should have trusted my gut with Miami. Should have trusted my freaking gut with Miami. All right, let's move on. Here we go. So then, yeah, Tony, he had that slip screen touchdown that he ended up taking to the house. And I will say, too, this was definitely, besides the catch that didn't count, I don't think since the first half, any of his completions, I don't think he caught a pass until the touchdown. Because, again, he got so many stinking targets. But when it mattered the most, he finally got the touchdown. Because, again, he was getting covered all day. Beck kept throwing it to him, but putting it in bad spots. He either dropped it or it was well covered, or just you could kind of see too that Ole Miss figured out what Miami was doing with the ball and where they were trying to go with it, and it kind of turned into a thing where it's okay. First down pass, first down, let's go to Tony. Second down, let's do a slip screen to Tony. But then it wouldn't work, and so then on third down, Fletcher would run the ball. We'd get a first down, and like the cycle would continue. So still a damn good game though. What else here? Oh yeah. I think Lacey had a huge game. The fact, okay, because here's something that kind of blew me away too, is I didn't think that I'm curious too. Even though he played the rest of the game, did that hamstring affect his playmaking ability towards the second half of the game? And I'm wondering did he hurt on that big run that opened up the scoring when they made it 10-3? Did he hurt the hammy then? And would he have not hurt his hammy if he busted it out and went for the long run? I don't know. It was still a damn good run. Again, both defenses that coming into this game, everybody was talking about like the line of scrimmage and how, Miami's going to get after it. And I even joked about it in my stream the other day where Texas A&M scored points all year. Miami held them to 3. Ohio State scored points all year. Miami held them to 14. Ole Miss has scored points all year. Georgia couldn't keep them to 3 or 4 touchdowns. Like it ended up, they scored 30 plus points. And same with Miami tonight. They stopped them on some occasions, but Ole Miss just found ways to score all freaking game. Yeah, well, A&M. Yeah, I will admit in my playoff prediction, I had the winner of Texas A&M and Miami. Whoever won that game, I had them going all the way to the Fiesta Bowl, and I had them playing Georgia in the Fiesta Bowl. But that didn't end up happening. Ole Miss had other plans, and yeah, still a damn good game. Still a damn freaking good game. All right, what else can we talk about? Um, yeah, here's the touchdown that Trinidad had at the very end of the game that gave them the lead. And the other crazy thing too is with how the flow of the game went, where a lot of the possessions too that did, whether they ended in a field goal, because I think both teams' kickers played phenomenal today. They both had a really good game, because they both had they both had made kicks and they both had missed kicks. So you can't say one was better than the other. I mean, they both had long distance field goals. Um, but like with how the first half rolled into the second half of just time of possession, if you want to look at it that way, um, with how many possessions both teams ended up having there in the second half, and especially in the fourth quarter, where back and forth, like in the first half, drives took 4 to 5 minutes off the clock, which, I mean, freaking Miami, there was a moment where, yeah, they had the ball for 25 plus minutes more than Ole Miss with time of possession, but then in the second half, just freaking, nope, you get the ball, because we're going back and forth, and it's turned into a track meet, which I didn't think it was going to be a track meet. I don't think a lot of people thought it was going to be a track meet today, but the fact that it did turn into one is kind of fun, because when playoff games turn into track meets like this, it's really fun. And this, I'm getting the vibe too of remember when TCU played Michigan and beat them a couple years ago. That's what this had the feeling and the vibes of. I mean, there's something about, I don't know what it is, but when we start to play football in the desert, it's a good game. The Fiesta Bowls have been pretty entertaining as of late. I will admit, I mean, if we're going to go year by year by year, last year's wasn't, because, I mean, Penn State was too much to handle for Boise State. But you look at TCU, Michigan, you look at Clemson, Ohio State, you look at when Oklahoma State upset and beat Notre Dame. Gosh, what else? Which that team also, has the kind of same situation here with Ole Miss, where it's like, oh, your coach left before the big bowl games? Really? How crazy? One thing that I don't think we should overlook, and unfortunately it's going to be forgotten, is I'm super impressed with how well Ole Miss played in these playoffs without Lane Kiffin. And that's the elephant in the room that nobody probably wants to address or talk about. But considering that everybody, myself included, wrote them off and said, no, this team can't. They can't go on a run. They can't. Okay, they're going to beat Tulane, but they're not going to beat Georgia. The fact that they did, and in the manner of how they did, and how they could have won this one, it's like, ooh, okay. So I don't, again, you want to talk about moral victories. I think that's one moral victory Ole Miss could try to have in all of this. But, yeah. And then the very end, last play of the game, Carson Beck takes it into the house himself. I think the other thing too, we'll have to watch a replay and more film on how it broke down. I think everybody was so committed to the flats and covering receivers that it just left him open for, because nobody was around him within 8 yards. Like it it would have been more. I think we'd be sitting here talking more about how, why the hell did you not run it? You know, if he did force a pass, because I think it's just one of those things where it's a little blip where, oh, whoops, we forgot about his ability to run the ball. Which I think a cool full story moment of Beck is how I didn't personally, how we all wrote him off and thought he was a bum. Now, I've made jokes and I've joked about, you know, there are some games where he was really good and really sloppy with Georgia. There's parts of me that think some of it is him, but it also might just have to do with just play calling at Georgia. Because there was, and you could see it, there was a difference between what Georgia was like in 2023 versus Georgia in 2024. There really was. If I'm not mistaken, I think Beck was in talks for the Heisman in 2023. Let's look at Heisman votes 2023. Like I know Penix and Bo Nix and Dean Daniels. Oh, what the hell? No, he wasn't. Okay, never mind. I don't know why my brain thought he was. Because, yeah, Dean Daniels, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Marvin Harrison, Jordan Travis. Which, dude, if he stayed healthy, I will say this, and this might sound crazy. If Jordan Travis stayed healthy, I think Florida State might be winning the national championship that year, but he's definitely probably winning the Heisman. Yeah, I wonder. Cody Schrader, that makes sense. Blake Corum, Blake Corum. I feel like Blake Corum was slept on too. I mean, 27 rushing touchdowns. You go look back and you go watch the film. There are a lot of games he helped win for Michigan single hand. That's kind of funny. That's funny that out of all, not the accolades, but like the wins that Georgia had in 2023, where their only loss was in the SEC championship, he wasn't even top 10 in voting for Heisman. Interesting. All right. Charlie Weiss. Oh yeah, I didn't follow along with that. Yeah, I don't know who actually. I don't know who left and who stayed, because not care is not the right. It's one of those things where you just kind of you overlook it. It's one of those small things where, because people don't give credits to coordinators as much. I think we're starting to now a little bit more, but yeah. Desmond Williams did all that trolling and transfer portal, lost his agent just to return. Yep. He shot himself in the foot, which that's a funny story to. Well, I'm interested to see where that goes. Where we'll see where it ends up. Yeah, guys, that's my thought on the Fiesta Bowl, man. It's a good one. I wonder how many, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Lacey has a couple more years of eligibility. There's parts of me that I'm wondering, where would Ole Miss go from here with how good they played, because they did play good, and they did have a damn good season. Which, the other thing too is, a lot of people are going to forget this, is coming into the season 2 when people talked about Ole Miss and how, okay, Jackson Dart's not going to be there anymore. People were talking about how this was going to be a rebuild year for the Rebels. And so the fact that they got to the semifinal on a rebuild year, and not only the semifinal on a rebuild year, but they also got to the semifinal without their head coach, who left after rivalry week. I think when we make predictions from here on out, I think it's hey, let's predict anybody at any time, because looks like anybody can go and anybody can make it. So I'm not too crazy when I think, hey, Kansas State and Iowa State can have a rematch of week 0, because I did have Kansas State going far this year personally. But that's in my own personal predictions. I don't even remember. I'm going to have to go find the file of it. But I think somewhere I had, of the 12 teams, 12 teams, don't quote me on it. I don't remember the particular order, but I did not have, I will say this, I did not have Ole Miss. I think I had Ole Miss winning 8 games this year. But I had Miami, Clemson, and Florida State from the ACC. There's your first problem. I think I had K-State from the Big 12, Oregon, Georgia, I said Oregon already, Georgia, LSU. I don't think I had Penn State. I think instead of Penn State, I had Oregon. I did not have Indiana. You know what? Let's go look it up. Let's try to go find it. Wait, let's just go look at standings here. Let's just go look at standings and I'll point them out. Okay, standings. Okay. Out of the American, I think for the 12th seed, I think I did have Tulane. Not gonna lie, because I don't. Okay, I had Georgia Tech. I think Georgia Tech was because I had Miami, Clemson, Florida State. So there's 3. Oh, how could I forget? Okay, so I have 3. Kansas State 4. Did I have Arizona? I don't remember if I had Arizona State, but I didn't have BYU or Texas Tech either. Maybe I did have Iowa State 5. Okay, so there's a soft 5. Ohio State, Oregon. I think that's all from them. Notre Dame. So now we're at 8. Georgia, Texas, LSU, and Oklahoma. Yep, that's everybody. Those were all my playoff teams, all 12 of them. And look who didn't make it. So, yeah, we gotta be careful making predictions now in the future, because for a minute I was kind of feeling a little high on Auburn. That didn't work. Florida, well, look how that went, and so on and so forth. Like I didn't have Ole Miss winning as many games. I didn't have Texas A&M winning as many games. I think I had Bama going 1, 2, 3 losses, or maybe this was the 3rd loss. No, I probably thought this was a win. I think I had them losing 3, because I was like, because at the beginning of the year, because I know I had Georgia Tech going 10-2. The teams I had them losing to was not Georgia. I had them beating Georgia, because I had them losing one of these away games, which they did end up losing to NC State. I had them losing one at home and one on the road, and their home loss, I think I might have predicted Virginia, because I was like, there's no way they start 9-0, and they ended up starting 9-0. Because I predicted them beating Clemson, but I think I had them losing Wake Forest after having huge momentum of starting 4-0, and then I think this one to Syracuse. I am losing this one to Syracuse, to where, okay, it all comes down to, can you get to the ACC championship? Can you get to the playoff as an at-large bid? The only thing that's standing in your way is Georgia. Because if you secure a win against Georgia, you go 10-2 instead of 9-3. You get that at large bid, and they ended up losing to Georgia. Because I did have them beating Georgia. It's not how it went though. Now, those were my. That's who I predicted going to the playoff. Not happen though. I think maybe I had Iowa State going too. I don't know, but like Indiana. Okay, let's pull up. Let me pull up. Let me pull up the actual playoff bracket. Nope. Wrong button. All right. Okay, when we look at... Oh, not the NFL playoff bracket. Okay. Is this... No, this isn't the thing, because look. One of these things is not like the other. Hey, you're not supposed to go there. Okay, hold on. College football playoff bracket. Okay, here we go. Yes. Okay. Did I predict JMU? No. No. Did I predict Tulane? I think I did, because I think I did respect the Power 5, and it was gonna be the winner of the Mountain West, which I did think it was either gonna go to like San Diego State or Boise State. Or I picked Tulane, or I picked Toledo. I don't remember, because that's who everybody was talking about. And because I kind of knew, okay, you're the 12 seed, you're probably not going to get far. That's why I just kind of threw it out there, just to throw it out there. But Ole Miss, no. Miami, yes. Texas A&M, no. Texas Tech, no. Oregon, yes. Bama, I don't think I did. So no. Indiana, no. Georgia, yes. Ohio State, yes. So it shows how much ball I actually know from predicting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 correct out of 12. Hey, 5 out of 12, it's a pretty good day if we're shooting hoops from the 3. Okay. Let's go look at other stats we might have ignored. What are some other big football news that happened today? Oh, Mike McCarthy not Mike McCarthy. McDaniel from Miami. He got fired today too, which I could probably I got to make a video on that. Oh, here we go. See, I told you I would talk about it later in the stream. 10 penalties compared to 4. Like Miami, both teams were getting after it, and both teams were really chippy. Last call was an obvious PI after he got pulled down. Well, I mean, would you throw the flag? Are you throwing the flag in that game? And in that moment, last play of the game, Hail Mary, Ole Miss is hovering around the 50. Are you throwing that flag? I don't know what refs would throw that flag. Which I did kind of talk about it a little at the very beginning of the stream, because we started the stream towards the very end of the game. There was a lot of hand fighting there towards the very end. Yeah, both. What's his name? Let's go. Because the corner that was covering him was the one who had to replace the guy that had got ejected. DB. Where? O'Connor, number 24. Which O'Connor almost had a pick. So Trinidad almost did throw an interception. It was the one. So Beck threw an interception, and then we come back, and then there was the tipped pass that O'Connor almost caught. As much as it did look like it could have been pass interference, if you do watch the replay, Both of them were hand fighting, and ball sailed out of the back of the end zone. Like, Trinidad did put a little bit too much mustard on it, but I don't know with how, again, it's the last play of the game. I don't know where you would have called it, and it would have been a tough call either way. Let's see if I can pull something up here. I don't want to get. Let me see. Here we go. Oh, he's got to play an ad first. We got 17 votes in the chat. Okay, good. I'm not muted. We got 17 votes in the chat, guys. I asked you who you got. We're leading towards Miami. Okay, here we go. So this is the final Hail Mary attempt. Okay, now. Okay, let's look at this in super slow-mo. Okay, hopefully I don't get hit here. You are right. There is a little bit of grabbing and there's a little bit of pushing with O'Connor. Because yes, that is textbook PI. But what it's not showing, because we can't see it on this angle, is his arm is doing the exact same thing on O'Connor's other shoulder. And again, he's falling. O'Connor's trying to lift up off of him. That ball's sailing out of the back of the end zone. We only got 1 foot in bounds. And so this wouldn't have been, if he did miraculously catch it, he didn't control possession because we got a second elbow. So say he caught it, boom, you got to have the 2 points of contact in catching the ball. Hell of a catch. It would have been a hell of a catch, and they would have had to look at it for about a year and a half. But right, look at this. Anybody going to talk about this? No? We're just going to overlook this hands to the face? Oh, must have been the wind. Oh, and then what's this? Oh, a push off as well? Again, it's a tough bang call. Shot at the goal line, Hail Mary. I respect the fact that refs didn't call anything because, I mean, it's a tough-ass call. It's the last play. Hold on, come here. It's the last play. Well, and if anything, too, like let's go by sequence of events here. Okay, I do not know what happened 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, so I wouldn't know what to call once we're 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. But then look at this. Once we get here, what's the first thing? Pass interference on the offense, illegal hands to the face. What's the second thing? Defensive pass interference, because at this point he has him by the horse collar. And then we got an equal here for... Then we come back here. Now he's penalizing him. And then we have the yank down pass interference of him vaulting up to try to get... Because do you see how he's lifting up? And of course, we can only predict this, and I can only predict this right now as I'm seeing it in real time. Because it's super slowed down and I'm pausing and stuff. He's lifting up, but as you can see, his body's twisting and turning. That's because he's getting pulled down right here. Because if he went straight up, look how he went straight up and nobody affected him. That's why he was able to get straight up there. And again, I didn't even look at the feet. Did his left foot go out of bounds? Let's look at another thing here too. Could we have had a situation where, okay, watch the feet. Feet are good. Feet are good. Feet are good. Feet are good. No feet out of bounds. No feet out of bounds. No feet out of bounds. Oh, his head's in the way. You can't tell. One more time. One more time. Oh, look at that. Okay. So they would have called that inbounds. Yeah, he would have been in. But again, so if he did catch it, hell of a catch. It would be catch of the century because, look, he's in the corner. back pylon, 50-yard bomb, Hail Mary. But I think he didn't have enough. What do we got? What more do we got here? Oh, we got just celebration. He didn't have. You got to have that extra possession, and then that knee down wouldn't have been enough. Cause see how his hand is right. Like, yeah, I don't know. I bet a lot of people are like, "Phew! At least it didn't happen that way." But yeah, I think there was a lot of hand fighting either way, but I don't know. I don't know what ref is going to call that, because they did make a lot of penalty. Like, dude, there were 14 penalties in this game. This game was a pretty nasty game, all things considered. But I don't think there was a wow, look at that kind of, because I mean, the penalty, because if and again, I'm trying to look at this objectively. If there was a wow, like, okay, this team just got fetched over, the penalties that gave Ole Miss 30 extra yards that they ended up scoring on a touchdown, Miami came right back and scored with Tony. And so it kind of like, it's not like Miami didn't have the ball again to score a touchdown. And then also, like, both teams within the final 5 minutes, because Miami had the lead with the Tony touchdown, and then excuse me, and then Ole Miss took the lead back with Wright's touchdown. Like, both teams had a shot. Like, you get a touchdown, you get a touchdown, and then that's what led to Beck's final touchdown. Like, it wasn't too crazy. The wide receiver could have caught it. Who knows? Who knows? It'll sit there forever. We'll never know. It looked like a good. He had a good look. I'll give him that much. He had a good look. I think because I think, well, because again, we gotta look at Mr. Official here. What's Mr. Official looking at here? Mr. Official probably saw this hands to the face, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to let it slide. Because, like, look how his head's turned. Like, he's watching it. I think this ball is a little too far, too. Because he's stretched out as far as he can go. And he doesn't go up with two hands. Like, it's out of his reach. Chambliss put a little bit too much mustard on it. Like, if this ball's down here a little bit more by like 2 yards, oh, it's hitting him in the side of the helmet, and he probably is hauling it in. Like AB, you guys remember when AB caught it on the side of his head? But let me find a good steel frame here, because you can't see it on this side because, like, it's super hella blurry. Sorry, let's go right here. Okay, here comes the ball. Oh, one more. Oh! That is the best shot we're going to have. Let me pause it right here. Look at that, guys. Fingertips catch. Just out of the reach of his fingertips. But I don't know. I could see people talking about it forever, though. Where, oh my gosh, what the hell? Bring it back 0.05. Okay, we'll bring it back a little bit, right? Gotta be quick. It was a tough call. All right, one more frame. Okay, one more frame. See that? Missed it by that much. So, it was a close one. I don't think Ole Miss should hang their heads too much, though, because It was a damn good game. Like they played phenomenal. And when the other thing too is when after Miami got that big touchdown from Marion that extended the lead to 17-10, it kind of felt like how the fumble felt in the Georgia game, but they kept them at bay. And like that whole third quarter, because I think another big momentum swing that could have happened in this game is if any points were scored in the third quarter. But the only thing that was scored in the third quarter was that field goal. And I'm kind of thinking that if there's parts of me that think if any offensive production is happening for Miami in the third quarter, I don't know if Ole Miss comes back. Like they did end up coming back and like they kept it close, but like it's the difference between being down 17-13 versus being down 27-13. Like Miami's offense didn't do. I wonder. I'll want to rewatch the game or watch highlights or something. But like, what happened? Like, was there an injury? Maybe an injury or something happened that led it to the point where, yeah, there was no offensive production at all in the third quarter. But then in the fourth quarter, that's when they found it out. I don't know. I guess. How long did the other thing too is how long did 15 plays, 75 yards. Oh, that's the okay. You want to okay? Let me bring up one thing too. Here, let me pull it up so you guys can see it as well. Let's talk about one thing, and we might end the stream on this because we have been streaming for over an hour. Is the difference between going for two when you need to go for two versus when they need to. Huh? I see I see what you're talking about. Yeah, no. Well, I think it was smart that they went for two, and it ended up working. Like he did catch it. The other thing too that we can't ignore is the fact that there was 3 minutes left in the game, and with how much Ole Miss's defense got after the Hurricanes, they couldn't. Like the fact that after, because again the touchdown to Wright, like it was a quick series. Like we look here, they only took a minute 51 off the board, but like both defenses. Well, actually, now that we look at it, you look at the final three drives. Neither defense got a stop. 75 yards, 75 yards, 75 yards. Like if there's any punts, like if they're able to hold Miami to a punt here or a field goal and Tony doesn't get his touchdown, then we turn around, that could have swung the game. Bad timing with a missed field goal and swapping one early for a 2-point combo. Yeah. Doink. But yeah, Ole Miss with 3 minutes letting Miami. Well, and the other thing too is this wasn't a quick series either. This was a long one. Oh, and plays, total plays. Where's the full team stats? Here we go. Total plays. Possessions. Time of possession, 41 minutes to 18 minutes. Penalties. Total yards. Damn, it won't show me, but there's a stat out there because they played it where when they compared time of possession, because Miami had over 30 and then Ole Miss had under 10. It showed plays, and Miami had doubled them on plays as well. Miami was up in the 60s or something. 60s, and Miami was hovering around the 20s. Like, they had doubled them in plays. Because I will say, and this is where I kind of feel like Ole Miss had a more explosive game, is there were more explosive plays. Because there was the 3 touchdowns. And that's about it. Those were the 3 explosive plays for Miami, but Ole Miss had a lot more big, huge chunk yardage, quicker touchdown drives. Yeah. So. All right. Let's see. I didn't check over here. We can check over here. I don't know how much. I haven't looked at my other chat. Sorry, guys. Oh, okay. We're good over here. And then over here, I asked who you guys got. 75%. We are leaning with Miami. Okay. Okay. Okay, people. But we are going to end the stream here because it is 10:40. We watched a pretty damn good game, guys. Miami was... The cool thing, too, is both teams were kind of ignored and, like, overlooked the whole playoff series. But we have Miami coming in, and both teams, huge underdogs in the whole playoffs. They gave us a game to remember. Very entertaining first half, very entertaining second half. And then the fact that we have 2 lead changes there at the very end of the game just spoke to how complimentary the football was, but also the competitiveness and the level of competitiveness too. And I think that's going to show, I think, on a lot of scouting reports in the future too, because I think for Chambliss especially, because he's still right now in the process of trying to gain a 6th year of eligibility, like, oh gosh, Pavia or Sam Hartman, or who else were some 6th year grown ass men playing college football. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I think if he doesn't get that extra year of eligibility, this is the perfect game on tape for his draft stock to help improve his draft stock, because he look at what he did against Georgia's defense and look at what he did against Miami's defense. Like, I will give him a lot of credit for playing absolutely phenomenal in the limited games that I watched of Ole Miss this season. Because, I mean, I said that in a stream earlier, that a lot of the reason why I picked Miami tonight and why I picked Miami in a lot of the games in this postseason was I watched a lot of the Hurricanes this year. The Florida State game, the Notre Dame game, the Louisville game, the SMU game. Like, it felt like if I wasn't watching Oklahoma, I was watching Penn State try to get back to 500. Clemson barely, yeah, like the typical teams. And also, what was another fun team that we watched during this season? Bama. There were a couple weeks with Bama. Oh, Oregon. Duh. Oh my gosh. Again, watched so much freaking football this year. It was fun. Sorry, people. Let's go back to the chat. Touchdown drives. What game were you watching? Ole Miss kicked field goals all night. No, they had two touchdowns. Carson Beck going to cost Miami a championship. Hey, I wouldn't. That's what I'm nervous. That's what I'm nervous about, because again, I have seen Carson Beck play absolutely phenomenal, play out of his mind, play like a champion. We've seen it, we've seen that, and then I've seen the games where, oh my gosh, we're losing at home to Louisville, which I wonder how Louisville's feeling right now. I want to talk about crazy. Like, Louisville beat these guys. SMU beat these guys. And I bet they're sitting at home going, holy shit. Because, I mean, last year, SMU got into the playoff, and we saw what happened to them against Penn State. SMU beat these guys in overtime. So, like, yeah. This is what's good for college football, though. As much as people talk about how... hold on. When I'm trying to say this, when they're talking about, oh, we don't need the JMUs, we don't need Tulane, we don't need the Cinderella teams. It's not necessarily the Cinderella teams, but like the Tulanes or like the JMUs, because I think there will be a year probably where a 12th seed or an 11th seed goes on a run and wins the whole damn thing. There might be a year when something like that happens, and it will probably be because they have a quarterback that like they have a loaded roster. You know what I mean? Like Boise State, when Boise State won the Fiesta Bowl, like how many of their guys ended up going and playing in the NFL? Or you look at when Western Michigan beat Wisconsin, they had a couple guys go to the draft. When trying to think of some other upsets in the playoff. Oh, TCU beating Michigan. Like how many of those guys on that TCU squad ended up going to the NFL? Or like it would take something like that if I were to make a bold prediction. Um, Field goals, and they had way more points they were scared to score. Yeah. Oh, there. I think both teams. Yes, both teams left a lot of points on the board tonight. But I mean, it was still a damn good game. Still very entertaining. Still very entertaining. I would be more concerned. Well, and then when you go look at here, let's pull it up here real quick. What I would be concerned with Miami, regardless of who wins out of Indiana and Georgia, look at how many points they gave up: a touchdown and a field goal. I'd be more concerned that, I mean, they did let Ole Miss score 27 points, but of those 27 points, 11 of them came in the fourth quarter with 7 minutes left to go. Like, Ole Miss went on that long, methodical 5-minute drive, but I mean, I'd be a little more concerned with that. With game was out of reach, you let Ole Miss hang around, you let Ole Miss get the lead, and then you had to go on your own, phenomenal game-winning drive to win the game. That's what I'd be more concerned about, because there's parts of me, whether it's Oregon or Indiana, which I'm still leaning Oregon, and I know, crazy for thinking that. There's parts of me that think Oregon's defense or Indiana's defense, they're not gonna give up that touchdown to Beck. Like, they'll find a way, and they'll get a stop. They'll get a. The other thing too is third down conversions and fourth down conversions. There's not actually. Oh, there is a stat here. Look how many times. Look how many times. Look how many times Miami didn't get off the field when they didn't need to. And then, in turn, look at how many times Miami was able to get Ole Miss off the field. So, roll Tide, brother, we left the Tide back a couple weeks ago. What planet are you on? No, I think if Simpson didn't get injured, and this is a big if, I still think the outcome would have been the same, but I don't think it would have been a blowout the way it was. Like, I think, because we have seen, even in this playoff, even in this game, where quarterbacks, they get rattled, offenses, they slow down, but then once they get into the rhythm of the game and they start to score, we end up having one of these kind of games. Because, yeah, the score compared to the first to the second, like, but then we also have unique situations too, where if you do want to look at it from that point, like, we have this is not, no, these don't come all the time. Like, this is a rarity. And also, what people are going to forget too, read through a couple interceptions in this game, and how many times did they get down to the goal line or within field goal range and miss a field goal? There were 5 missed field goals in this game. Like, this game was nasty. This game was freaking gross. But gross in a good way. Because nothing, here, let's go to field goals. What, show field goals? Fullbacks are kicking. Yeah, one for 4. 0 for 1. Yeah. This is a nasty game. So, all right, guys, we are going to end the stream here. Thank you for all the votes. We had 62% rolling with Miami tonight. People on the shorts end, we're going to do a hard out here, but I thank you guys for all the subs. Be sure to hit that sub button on the way out. I appreciate it a lot. Hope you guys enjoyed the game just as much as I did. But I'll see you guys in another stream. Sweet. There we go. Freaking damn good game. Damn good game. What am I doing now? What are we doing now? Oh, I know exactly what we're doing now. We are wrapping this thing up. So that's what we're doing. Okay, guys. That will be it for the stream. Let me double check one more thing. Because it's a process. It's a process of ending the stream. I can't just go and end it. It's weird. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. Talking ball a little bit. Thank you, chat. Shout out to you guys for keeping the chat lively and active as we talked and reminisced about the game. This was a really good game, and I think one thing I'm gonna have to probably walk back my statement that I made about the Oregon-Indiana game is going to be the national championship, because whatever happens, it won't live up. I'm going to have to take that back, because I really think whoever Miami ends up playing, whether it's Oregon or Indiana, dude, there's parts of me where it's like, doesn't matter who it is, it's going to be a damn good game. And hopefully it's a little bit better, because last year, the national championship last year with Notre Dame and Ohio State, it was good. And there's parts of me that still think that if there was, because of the late surge, if there's maybe 10 more minutes left, maybe Notre Dame could have had time to come back. Because they did. They showed a late game surge, kind of like how Ole Miss did in this game. They ended up running out of time. Excuse me. Which, ask any team anywhere ever in the history of, sports in general, everybody can say that. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, we ran out of time a little bit. But I think excuse me. Man, I've been talking a lot. When my voice starts to crack, it means that I've been talking for freaking ever and that the stream needs to end. But no, this game was definitely lived up to the hype. Both quarterbacks played phenomenal today. Yeah, some of them had their blemishes here and there, but it wasn't too bad. Like, Ole Miss showed up. Ole Miss put up a fight. And yeah, we'll end the stream here, though, guys. So thank you for hanging out. Thank you for keeping it lively in the chat. Thank you for all the subs lately. We've gained, if I'm not mistaken, let's take a little look here. We have gained, not enough. So when we what? Okay, then let's go back one more. Pause. What's the number? Ooh, we've almost gained 10 subs. We almost gained 10 subs this stream. Alright. Enough of me rambling, guys. enough of me yapping. I've yapped way too long. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. It's a good game. Hopefully tomorrow game is just as good. I think it will. I think it will live up to the billing because when Oregon and Indiana played the first time in the regular season, it was a good game. And it took till very end, very late in the game for Ole Miss to start to not Ole Miss, Oregon to start to unravel a little bit, and Indiana ended up taking advantage. So we'll just see. I hate to say it, I'm kind of picking Oregon, just because there's parts of me where it's like they get that get back, but I don't know. I do not know if they can beat Indiana, because that was week 7 Indiana, and Indiana has just gotten that much better, and I don't know. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. It'll be a good game. But I thank you guys for sitting with me long enough, listening to me ramble. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out, and I will see you guys in the next stream. Peace.